This week, Barack Obama has put on shining display his meticulous character assessment capabilities by nominating Sonia Sotomayor to become a new Supreme Court judge. Of course, such inconceivably dumb Republicans, led in a charge by the overgrown, repulsively simple-minded Rush Limbaugh, have felt the need to point out what they consider obvious infirmities in regards to her qualifications. Perhaps they're simply trying to point the finger to divert attention from their obvious own shortcomings in the boudoir. Here to comment is the abhorrently conservative PJTV commentator, Steven Crowder.
Wow. Well, there's a way to welcome your guests there, Keith.
So please, tell me, Mr. Crowder, explain how you justify your absolute disdain for this woman who is so clearly a minority, sir.
Right. Well, I'm going to try and act like that wasn't a completely loaded question to begin with. The truth is, I don't like her as a judge because of her principles and her policies. Really, it's
And let me be the first to point out, sir, that your indisposition towards Miss Sotomayor is obviously a product of your ethnocentrism.
That literally has nothing to do with it, Keith.
Mr. Crowder, you've already disqualified this lady in the very bowels of your soul exclusively because she is of different color from yourself. Is it so wrong to have somebody in a position of authority in this country who may not fit into this fantasy of white suburbia that has so vividly crystallized your worldview? Is it so repugnant to you, Mr. Crowder, for an impoverished lady of Latina descent to enjoy the higher positions of government that your white counterparts so fervently take for granted? Yes, Mr. Crowder, her skin might be a different color than yours, but if you hurt her, does she not feel? Is your view of people of color so askew that you have bridged an inhuman-like disconnect from the very heart that beats in your chest? I stand before you today, sir, to tell you that she is not an animal, not a beast, here for your sick, conservatively warped mind to enjoy, not a circus act, prancing across the perverted landscape of your mind for your personal satisfaction, but a human being. Here to comment on the matter is MSNBC's own Rachel Maddow.
Well, I agree with you, Keith. You're so smart.
Thank you, Rachel. I ask you, Mr. Crowder, one more time. Why is it so wrong for her to have a flame of passion for justice that you and your white colleagues share? Why must you make constant attempts to snuff that flame, leaving nothing but a smoking wick? But, Mr. Crowder, it is all for naught, because her flame will continue to grow. Even in the midst of your Republican hurricane, it will flicker through the storm and continue to shine with a brightness that will act as a beacon for the whole world to see.
Right. Well, I got maybe 20% of what you just said. I get that you're implying I'm a racist. I understand
but there's no
that
implication necessary, sir. You have already sunk your own ship on this one. Here is a picture of you at a Klans meeting only weeks ago. Is there no end to your hatred, Mr. Crowder?
Yeah, that's clearly a photoshopped picture there, Keith.
How dare you question my journalistic integrity, sir? I wear power suits. Power suits.
No, really, if you look at that picture, I think you can see George Clooney in the foreground. That actually might have been taken from a Coen Brothers film.
How dare you implicate such a fine American as George Clooney in the quagmire that is your racist Republican agenda? You disgust me, Mr. Crowder, which is why you are today's worst person in the world.
That's lovely.
I would wish you a good day, but that would be far too kind for what your luridly hateful breed deserves. So I will bid you adieu.
You're the bane of my existence, Keith.
WTF.